So you are locked in on that thing. You have given it your full attention. But the question is, are you focused or are you distracted? And saying distracted right after saying you've given something your attention kind of sounds like it's like contradicting, but what we're talking about is the goals that we can put out for ourselves. Are we focused or distracted when we are talking about goals? Now, let's look at school. Focused says, I'm going to go back to school, and goes and gets enrolled. Distracted keeps talking about going to school, but for some reason is putting it off or haven't gotten it together yet. And I'm not talking about reasons like I don't have the proper paperwork or I'm still waiting for a Pell Grant to come through. I'm talking about the person, we all know it, we've all done it. Procrastination looms in all of us. So this is the distraction. But say you are in school. How's the grade point average? It might be good, but are you really going to class? Are you participating? Are those papers and projects getting turned in on time, or they just slid in at the last minute and you are hoping and praying that that cram session that you put in the last night before the final or the mid-season exam is going to get a passing grade? We know the clear differences in that. The person who's turning in those assignments, who's showing up rested and ready and studied for that test, they are focused. This person they're there, they're present, but are they really accounted for with their focus, or are they just distracted? You could be distracted by a lot of things. Let me be very clear, guys. When I'm talking about distraction, this is, again, it's more aligned with the procrastination of life. I'm not talking about the person who may have had to put it aside because they had familial obligations, a second or third job, or other things like that. I'm talking about the people who are really have the time and are squandering it. When we're talking about our health, are you eating right, sleeping right? Are you drinking enough water? Maybe drinking too much of the sugary, caffeinated drinks? Like, where are we at with our health? And it doesn't have to just be our physical health. Like, did you go to the gym? Things like that. What about just going to the therapist? A lot of people, obviously, in our society can benefit from going to a therapist or a counselor. Have you done that yet? And a lot of people, I'm sure, in the back of their minds, like, this isn't normal, the things that I'm doing. What I need to talk to somebody. But have you signed up for that yet? Are you focused or distracted? Are you focused on getting your mental health back on point, or are you still distracted by a lot of things? And again, I'm not talking about people with legitimate clinical, issues that really would require something more to intervene. But a lot of us don't. And again, it's the procrastination. And I've spoken with people who go to therapists, and when I ask them how is it going, you come to find out that they're not being actually all that honest with their therapist. So if you're not even being honest with the person that you're paying to help you get better, there is a massive distraction. And it could just be your own ego. But okay. What about your sexual health? I mean, enough said. Are you being safe about it? Are you discerning people? Are you vetting? Or are you just out there and just whatever comes and you're just living fast and hard? And it's not a judgment, but it's a question. Are you focused on those things, or are you distracted by all of these other sparkly things? So you got to get right about that. You got to learn about your body before you inherit something that you can't get rid of, or before you do something like create a life that you're not prepared for and you can't afford. So are you focused or distracted on what those kind of things can bring? Even finances. You could be going to work and showing up every day. You are getting paid, you're chasing the bag, all that good stuff. But is there a savings in plan? Or how about your debt? Are you creating more debt, or are you paying it down? One is a distraction by the things that you want versus securing your long-term for what you need. There's a focus and there's a distraction. And we've all been there to some extent. But it's important to know that you are putting away in a 401k, or that you're, putting a pension or just a savings account if your work doesn't have either of those. Because again, it's what's going to benefit you. These are the goals that we're talking about. Sometimes people procrastinate from. And again, I'm not speaking about people who just don't know better, who don't know how to build their credit score, or who don't know what that means, but there's a lot of us who do. So are you focused? And if you don't know, and you certainly, most of us know what credit means, we know the word, but have you looked into it? Have you studied more on what that credit means and how it can affect you? Are you focused or distracted? Big example. When I go live on my other channel, we just have fitness and we have a lot of talking points and we exercise, have a good time. But inevitably, when you go live, it's just social media. There are a lot of trolls out there. And they think that they're focused on really giving me digs. I'm going to say something, this and that. And a lot of these trolls are repeat offenders. So this is why I say focus for a lot of them. But they're actually distracted because they're detracting from their own life. There's nothing positive or productive that they are accomplishing by doing this. So they're distracted by the small things that social media does, which is also a health issue. Social media can be an addictive thing, as we all know, just like video games, just like sugar, just like salt, and on down the line with harder recreational drugs. So this is kind of an addiction of sorts. And they're getting low grade dopamine hits by thinking that they're doing something funny or positive or whatever, but they're distracted by what their life actually could be, because every moment that you are giving energy towards something that's not bettering you, or at least has the potential to better you, then you are distracted in life. You're not focused. And again, these are no judgments. This is just one man's opinion from experience and for what I've seen. And I've been there. I've been the procrastinator. In some ways I still am, but aren't we remiss if we don't speak to it? To point people out, to help people focus, to say, guys, this is what is going to benefit you. This is not. So sometimes it's just something to stand up and speak to. But we have examples of what focus and distraction can be. And I think it's important to cover all of them. But I can't cover possibly all of them because everybody's life is different in its own way. So you're going to have some things that you're going to be focused and distracted, have that balance that I couldn't possibly know. But it's within each of us to at least know that there's two sides to this, and then to figure out what it is in our lives that we need to find more focus on. Because some of us are razor sharp when it comes to that job. Some of us are so locked in, but then we are so negligent when it comes to our health. Some of us, it's the opposite. Some of us are really locked in when it comes to our health and fitness, and then we're just struggling with those bills and things like that. So everybody's going to have their own thing. And I think that that's a perfectly normal place to be. But one, let's recognize that we have places that we are focusing and other places that we're probably distracted. Two, if you need more help, as in addiction, as in your health, as in a lot of these other places, then by all means, seek it out. There's creditors, there's nutritionists, there's gym trainers, there's sexual health counselors. There are people in your communities and churches. If wherever your place of worship, there's so many places. Or better yet, you could just ask your confidants, because I'm sure most of us have somebody that we've told something to where we say, man, I just keep putting that off, or I'll get to it, or this or that. Ask them, hey, do you feel like, I'm putting that off? And it's already somebody you've told. So don't take it personal if they say, yeah, man, sometimes you are kind of pushing it off. Sometimes you are. Take that for what it is, because it's a person who's close to you, in your circle. You've put them in your circle. So hear them out and take what they've said with more than just a grain of salt, because you trusted them enough to say and confess in the first place. So it's just one of those things. But when we go back to the trolling and stuff like that, and even just people in a lot of ways, when they are doing something like trolling or losing their focus by distraction, what they're pointing out is their own insecurities. And I think sometimes that's a lot of times where we can get distracted. You may not have decided to sign up for school or go out for that team or ask out that person, whatever it is, because you may not have thought that you were capable or worthy of it yet. And there's a difference between feeling like you're worthy of something and actually being prepared for it. If you've worked out and you know all the plays or all the notes or whatever else, then you are worthy to go and experiment and see if you can get that desired result by trying something new. That's not a distraction. Just means you may not get the desired outcome, and that's okay too. So we got to make sure that we understand, but don't let insecurities, and I'm going to separate like just people who have uncertainties and trolls who have real insecurities, because sometimes people just strike out of their own insecurities, and that's like the case of hurt people hurting people. Sometimes when we're just a little self-doubt, that can just say, man, palms are sweaty, and that test, I know that test is gonna get me, but I've studied and I'm ready. I'm still gonna take it, and I'm not gonna knock anybody else down over it, over what other people are doing. We don't have to do that. So lift yourself up. You won't have to knock other people down, and there's your focus. Because you've focused on yourself, not distracted by what somebody else is doing, reminding you that you are not focused. And so now the best way that you think to focus is to be distracted by trying to knock somebody else down. I hope that makes sense. So guys, I'm going to leave it at that, but let me know what your thoughts are. Leave your ace up the sleeve, your advice, comment, experience in the chat. I'm sure we've all had it from a personal first-hand point of view, like where we were the procrastinator, we were lost in focus. I can tell you right now, as many times as I was focused, I have been distracted as well, probably more times, but that's the lesson in it, is when you've been distracted and you figure it out. And sometimes it's just seeing other people who are focused, and that's a great place to be as well. So again, get with your circle, get with your confidants, get with that counselor, get with that creditor, get with that nutritionist, whoever it is that's going to help you get that focus in that area. And if you're saying you can't afford it, like I can't afford a nutritionist or I don't have the time, the thing that you're looking at me right now through, most of it is going to be your phone. There's Google searches, there's all sorts of things that you can look through, find accredited sites that are going to be able to give you some amount of information to help you start to get away from that blur of distraction and really start to sharpen in that vision on focus. So guys, again, love to hear from you. Leave in the comments, and we will see you guys very soon. Peace, love, unity, solidarity, and as always, subscriptions and videos. So stick around.